Hi, just a quick video. I don't normally have anything to say about politics. I don't really follow politics at all. Certainly don't follow foreign politics. Have very little interest in politics generally. Although, having said that, I would say that the Premier of Western Australia, where I live, I think has done a pretty good job by keeping the hard borders in place, because we don't really have much in the way of restrictions here in Western Australia. Where I live, but it's an area 3.5 times the size of Texas. It's as big as most of Western Europe, and there's only 2.5 million of us living here, so it's not terribly crowded. Okay, but anyway, I digress. I saw on the news this morning that, or yesterday, that President Trump has COVID. Good heavens, he's contracted the COVID virus. Now, you may have noticed that, it's not obvious of course, but I can be a tad cynical. And I thought, well, that is rather convenient, isn't it? Because I didn't actually see it, but apparently his debate with Biden was a bit of a disaster for Trump. And apparently his rallies, he's getting fewer supporters going along, they're thinning crowds. Almost as thinning as his hair, I suspect. But I think one of his spin doctors, he's probably said, look guys, he's probably sat in the Oval Office with his spin doctors and said, you know, what can we do, guys? I can't have another debate. I just can't. Now, of course, President Trump doesn't know Colin Sugrin, so he can't run and hide behind Colin Sugrin. So what he said is, come on guys, I cannot have another debate. I'm getting creamed. I'm never going to get voted back in. What can I do? And they said, well, you know, if you had, if you were contracted the coronavirus, you wouldn't be able to take part in any, you wouldn't be able to take part in any debates until after the election. And he thought, yeah, okay, we'll run with that. Well, do you think that's me being cynical, or do you think that's highly probable? So he's to get out of any further debates that are going to make him look even worse, because I do get the impression he's not terribly smart, Donald Trump. You know, I used to look at George W. and think, I'm watching the most gormless president there is ever going to be of the United States, and I was wrong. It's hard to imagine, isn't it? I mean, preposterous as that sounds, I was wrong. But anyway, so yes, I think it's highly likely that he said, okay, I've got the coronavirus, I've contracted this, I'm going to have to isolate myself, so I'm afraid any future debates are out of the question. Of course, he's angling as well for the sympathy vote. Oh, poor Mr. President, you know, we better vote him back in. I'm sure he'd be giving Biden hell if he could. Yeah, right. And, of course, Melania has to have it as well, because, you know, if Melania didn't have the coronavirus as well, everyone would be saying, well, obviously they're not intimate in their marriage, are they? You know, I mean, if he's got it and she hasn't, what does that tell you about their marriage? So that's been written into the script as well. So there we are. And curiously enough, he's not getting his personal physician to inject him with disinfectant. Come on, Doc, go and get the Dettol. That's what he was saying a little while ago, wasn't it? You know, if disinfectant kills this bug, why not inject people with disinfectant? And then someone said to him afterwards, you know, that's a really stupid remark, Mr. President, and he then changed it so that it was a sarcastic remark, apparently. Although I must admit, I have seen that, and it didn't look like sarcasm to me. Bit of a worry, isn't it? And he's not taking the hydrochloroquine, you know, the quinine-based drug that supposedly is very effective against coronavirus. Was it Trump that was buying lots and lots of doses of this stuff, or suggesting people take it? But he's not taking it himself. He's not taking the hydrochloroquine. No, he's taking something called, what's this called? I wrote it down. It's a bit of a long name. It's Regeneron's polyclonal antibody cocktail. Okay, that's what Trump is taking for his coronavirus infection. He's taking Regeneron's polyclonal antibody cocktail. Polyclonal. What the hell does that mean? I'll have to Google that. Perhaps I should have Googled it before I made this video so I could see what that was all about. But sort of clonal sounds like it's sort of generating cells and attaching something to it, maybe. But no sign of the Dettol being injected. No sign of the hydrochloroquine. So there we go. Now, it is possible, of course, that Mr. Trump does actually have the coronavirus. So I did see him on TV this morning, and he was looking a bit less orange. He was looking a tad pale. So I suppose it is possible that he does actually have the coronavirus. I don't believe it personally. I think this is the only way that Trump can get out of any political debates before the election without actually hiding under the table or sitting in the Oval Office with a camera on him and with his fingers in his ears going la 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 la. That wouldn't be a very good look, would it? So there we are. Just a very quick comment on President Trump. You know, is his condition, medical condition, as real as his haircut? You know, it occurred to me the other day that if Melania took a picture of Trump getting out of the shower first thing in the morning, that would be worth a fortune. She could retire. Mind you, she probably could anyway. I think she's sort of independently quite wealthy, isn't she, Melania? I think she was a model before. I don't know if she was a supermodel, but I think she was a model before, so she's probably got a few quid. And I don't doubt that there is some sort of arrangement in place where she would be well looked after to keep any pictures she might have like that in the safe. Alrighty, so there we go. So what do we think is going to happen in America? I don't know. Is Biden a realistic candidate? I honestly don't know. As I say, I didn't watch the debate. I haven't heard many good things about Biden. I think what the Democrats should do is they should probably get someone like Oprah Winfrey. If they got Oprah Winfrey to run, she would stomp Trump into the ground, because she would get every female vote in America. She'd get every black vote in America. So she would just Trump wouldn't even be in the picture if they got someone like Oprah Winfrey to run the Democrats. And I remember years ago, you know, when Ronald Reagan was the president, and I think was it Doc Emmett Brown in Back to the Future, when he said, "Who's the president now?" And they said Ronald Reagan. And he said, "Ronald Reagan, the actor? Isn't that the guy that played the straight man to the monkey?" And it reminded me of a joke with Ronald Reagan, and you know, he was getting a little bit dotty towards the end. Some may say that he started the same way, but the old joke was there's an election going on, and Reagan says to one of his aides, "Well, how are we doing?" And the guy says, "We're doing really well, Mr. President. So far, there's been only one vote for the Democrats." And Reagan said, "Oh, silly me." Well, there you go. Very unusual for me. Video about a politician, politics. Not really an interest of mine, but something I thought I'd just throw out there. As always, if you've struggled through the video all the way to this point, many thanks for watching, and perhaps I'll catch you again.